Well, hey, anyone who's managed to reconnect already. My apologies for that outage. I am going to be saying much the same thing over and over again for about the next 3 minutes, which is going to be, hi, welcome back. Apologies for that outage. And for anyone who hadn't joined before I started that last announcement, hey, welcome back and my apologies for that outage. My computer basically just crashed because of, ironically, the stress of outputting the PDF picture file as an image to post to Facebook. Can you imagine that? So we just lost everyone for a minute. You can see question 20 up there. Some of you who may have looked at Facebook will have had that already. Question 20, do veins carry blood away from or toward the heart? I don't know why the pictures weren't working on Dropbox, so I'm not sure if they are yet. And with all of the excitement of getting reconnected, I still haven't posted a picture of the picture round to the Facebook thread. Let's see what we have. I'm going to try and come back to the comments, see what anyone has to say. This is a slightly, given as it was all going so close to smoothly this week, it's very saddening that we've had such a profound problem right at the end of round one, isn't it? But that is sort of the end of round one. So I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to close that off. Let's put the pictures back on if we can, for anyone who didn't see them all first time round. And then we're going to have about 5 minutes before we go to the music round. And most of the talk will be me welcoming people back. If any of your friends may be having trouble rejoining, tell them they need to go back to the link for the main video stream and they should be able to get on the live one. My computer is still having a little bit of trouble here, so apologies, I cannot yet access the YouTube thread either, and I haven't worked out who won the first spot prize. And imagine, what a disaster, and it normally goes so smoothly. Okay, I see that I have 3 of you back out of however many were watching earlier. That's probably not all of them. So again, thank you for rejoining. My apologies for the technical difficulties. The analytical weight of trying to put the picture sheet onto Facebook actually crashed my computer. So we've had to have a little bit of a restart of everything there, and we are back and raring to go. Hopefully you have all of the questions from round one, except question 20 perhaps, which is up on the plinth there. And you can start finalising your round one sheets. And not even remotely close to in timely fashion. We do now, hopefully, is that showing up? I really should have the picture sheet up on Facebook very, very shortly. So if you go to facebook.com/Quizcazoatl, you should be able to see today's pictures in image form as an alternative to that Dropbox link, which is broken for whichever reason. Okay, thanks for rejoining us. We're just finishing round one. I'm going to give a few minutes. If anyone is looking for a question repeated or to see some of those picture round pictures again, then do let me know. If you need a little bit of extra time to finish the picture round, which is now available on the Facebook page eventually, sorry for the delay, trying to post that crashed the computer, and that's how we got to where we are. Imagine that. Anyway. If there's anything more you need, let me know. And if you just need more time, I will post I can post the direct link to the music round questions, and you can start answering the music round while you are still finishing on round one. But with a bit of luck, everyone is going to be caught up and ready to rock. So I am just activating those pictures. I'm going to scroll those through on screen for a couple of minutes, and then at about 9:05, I'm going to move on to the music round if nothing else has gone wrong in the middle. It does look like we are gradually reaccumulating our audience as well. So thanks everyone for bearing with us. As you know, this is not a foolproof system. More fool I for testing it. Okay, everybody, it is time to get those round one questions submitted. Despite all of the problems, I'm not seeing any request for any repetition, so hopefully you've been able to catch up on the pictures. And we are going to come on to the music round in about 30 seconds. So remember, when you submit your question or your round one answer sheet, you will get given a link to open the music round answer sheet. If you lose it for any reason, you can go back through the start, just submit a blank round one, and it'll take you back to the music round link. That's the easiest way to do it. So about 30 seconds to get round one completed and submitted, and then it is time to rock out with some songs. And I'm not totally confident that I got all the answers in all of the kerfuffle there, but I can also announce my provisional spot prize question winner. So I have the population of Brazil as, I've forgotten it now. It's something of the order of 212 million, I think it was there. Anyway, the closest answer we had in was Teresa down south with 200 million. Well done, you are a spot prize winner. And all of that means that it is time to come on to the music round. For the music round... Oh, sorry, I just got a question, but that seems to have resolved itself, hopefully. So for the music round, we're going to play you 6 cliplets of songs. First from the 60s, then the 70s, then the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, even the 10s. Not the current decade, because nobody knows anything. We're going to ask you to identify both the performing artist and the name of the song. That's 2 points per song. I'll play them once, I'll give you a minute, and then, because I am give, I will play them again. So, without further ado, here comes the music round.
So many people do be cool and look smarter. Don't hold back. And you shouldn't even care about those noses in the air and the crooked stairs. Don't hold back. Cause there's a party over here, so you might as well be here with the people care. Don't hold back. The world, you're holding back. The time has come to. The world, you're holding back. The time has come to.
I threw a wish in the well. Don't ask me, I'll never tell. I looked to you as it fell, and now you're in my way. I trade my soul for a wish, pennies and dimes for a kiss. I wasn't looking for this, but now you're in my way. Your stare was holding, ripped jeans, skin was showing. Hot night, wind was blowing. Where you think you're going, baby? Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number.
There were some good songs there. Interesting songs, and songs that sound like all of the other songs by that band when you can't hear the lyrics. How do we work out which one it was? I'll have a weird urge for someone to share a cookie with me. Anyway, I'll give you another 30 seconds to discuss that, and then we'll come back and have them for a second time. Okay, and here we go again.
I don't know what it is that makes me love you so. I only know I never wanna let you go. 'Cause you started something, can't you see? That ever since we met you had a hold on me. It happens to be true.
Now muscle shows has got the swampers, and they've been known to pick us on too. Lord, they get me on so much. They pick me up when I'm feeling blue, and now how about you?
Mama's dancing with baby on her shoulder. The sun is setting like molasses in the sky. One could sing knew how to move. Everything, always wanting more. He leave you longing for.
Cause you woke up in the morning with initiative to move, so I make it harder. Don't hold back. If you think about it, so many people do be cool and look smarter. Don't hold back. And you shouldn't even care about those noses in the air and the crooked stairs. Don't hold back. Cause there's a party over here, so you might as well be here with the people care. Don't hold back. The world, you're holding back. The time has come to. The world, you're holding back. The time has come to.
I threw a wish in the well. Don't ask me, I'll never tell. I looked to you as it fell, and now you're in my way. I trade my soul for a wish, pennies and dimes for a kiss. I wasn't looking for this, but now you're in my way. Your stare was holding, ripped jeans, skin was showing. Hot night, wind was blowing. Where you think you're going, baby? Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number.
Me see you have cookie, so share them maybe. Close enough. Well, have a think about those. I am going to be sending out the marking links for round one now. So if you have been kind enough to put yourself forward as the nominated email address to mark, have a look in your inbox over the next minute or two. We're going to start with a couple of questions from round two, and then we are going to go to the round one marking. So what have you got to do? You've got to finish your music round answers. You've got to check your inbox for your marking sheets. You're going to have to think about the anagram that's coming up. And then we're going to get everything back on track as if nothing ever went wrong. Okay, hopefully you are more or less ready to get those music round questions in, because we are coming on to round 2. As before, when you submit the music round, you'll get the link to pass along to the form for round 2. And we're going to start with everyone's favourite, the only reason you sit through me waffling for an hour and an extra quarter of an hour to restart the podcast. It's an anagram. Imagine that. And this week's anagram, it's a recipe kit. It's a famous woman, but it's also a recipe kit. I've been trying to make Delia Smith out of it all day, and I can't quite make it work. So if it's not Delia, who is it? In case anyone's panicking, those marking sheets are still meant to be empty until I'm sure that we've had the last ones in, but they should be populating very shortly. Okay, let's go to question 2, and then I think it'll be time to mark round 1. That's exciting, isn't it? As always, remember, be having a look at those pictures, which hopefully you now have available to you. The Dropbox link is working again. Don't know why it broke. Don't know how it broke. Couldn't have fixed it. Anyway, round 2, question 2. We're asking, what's the name for a folded over pizza? It means a trouser leg in Italian. And a little bonus clue, there's a Seinfeld about it. So what's the name for a folded over pizza? Okay, no earlier than we should be. We're going to go and look at the answers to round 1. I think that everything should be ready to go. Let me know if your sheet is empty still. But other than that, we are on to the answers. So first off, we were asking for the name of Paul McCartney's designer daughter. And she is Stella. Apparently called Stella because Paul and Linda love to drink Stella. I thought they might call her Elizabeth, but no, it's Stella McCartney. Question 2, and we were asking which village just inside the Scottish border is famous for young runaway weddings. You would elope to Gretna Green. Gretna Green for 1 point. Question 3 took us to the pictures, and we were asking you to name the 6 people, count them, not 1, not 2, not 3, you get the point, 6. In picture 1, all including a town or city name. First we had Charlotte Church. Charlotte is that in Virginia? Somewhere in America, I think. Then we had Andrew Lincoln. We had Paris Hilton. Joaquin Phoenix. Winona Ryder. I honestly don't know whether Winona or Ryder is the town. There's a Ryder Cup, isn't there? I think there was a Steve Ryder at some point. I knew a horse rider once. Anyway, Winona Ryder. And finally, Eric Morecambe. Charlotte Church, Andrew Lincoln, Paris Hilton, Joaquin Phoenix, Winona Ryder, Eric Morecambe. 6 points available. Question 4. The Queen has bred several doggies. What 2 breeds of dog are crossed to make a corgi? A doggy. Well, one of them is corgi. I hope we mostly got that. The other, it's not a Great Dane, it's not the Dulux dog, it's a Dachshund. If you've written Dachshund, same thing, you still get the point. 2 points available, there is a point for the corgi. Question 5. What is the largest of the Canary Islands by land area? They call it Gran Canaria for a reason. But the reason isn't that it's the largest island in the Canary Islands. The answer was Tenerife. Tenerife is the largest of the Canary Islands by land area. Question 6 took us on to picture 2, and we were looking for the missing items from those Venn diagrams. First, we had the Rolling Stone. Hang on, Rolling Stone. Oh, I see. 60s band names minus the, and music magazines. Then number 2, we had Morse. That's TV inspectors and codes. And finally, we had Puck. That was sports equipment intersecting with Midsummer Night's Dream characters. Rolling Stone, Morse, Puck. 3 points. Question 7. Derived from the Latin meaning around day, what type of rhythm controls your body's sleep-wake cycle? It's the circadian rhythm. Circa, around, dia, day. In it. 1 point. Question 8. Which UK city has the shortest name? And it's Ely. E-L-Y, Ely. And I am told via the interwebs that Winona is in America, as is the town or city she's named after, presumably. Useful knowledge. Question 9 takes us to picture 3, and we were looking for missing text from road signs. As always in the Quizcazoatl pub quiz, be a smudge generous with the marking. It ain't about the spelling, and it ain't about the ordering. So, if they've more or less got it, give them the point. Go on. Anyway, our answers were permit holders only, queues likely, not as likely as they used to be. Third one was stop when lights show. Then we had slow, wet tar, or possibly slow, wet tar. I don't know what order those words come in. Urban clearway, and finally, stay in lane. So for 6 points, that was permit holders only, queues likely, stop when lights show, slow, wet tar, urban clearway, and stay in lane. Now, which country name suffix comes from the ancient Persian for nation, land, or home? Some of you might have guessed it, some of you might have known it. The clue is in the Central Asian republics, it's Stan. Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, all of that. Stan was the answer. Man United FC formed in 1878, but what did it used to be called? It was originally Newton Heath. LYR Football Club I have in brackets, but Newton Heath is the answer that we're looking for. Moving on to films, for picture 4, question 12, we asked for full titles, all of which has a lady's name in it. We had Carrie, Bridget Jones's Baby. It's not Bridget Jones's Diary. Probably looked like it could have been, but it's the baby that we're after for that one. The third was Erin Brockovich, Environmental Crusader Extraordinaire. The fourth, Lucy. The fifth, Victoria and Abdul. And finally, Annie. Carrie, Bridget Jones's Baby, Erin Brockovich, Lucy, Victoria and Abdul, and finally, Annie. Who was the Prime Minister in 1918 who survived the Spanish flu? It was David Lloyd George. David Lloyd George for a point. Question 14 took us to the oils again on the predictive text, and we had 2 ol oils. Olive and olbus. Olive and olbus, 2 points for 2 oils. What is the total number of coloured circles on the map in an original game of Twister? It's 24. There are 4 colours and each is represented 6 times. Remember, you can only play Twister with your own household at the moment, which in some cases might spoil the excitement. Question 16, and we asked who wrote the play The Crucible in 1953. It wasn't really about snooker, I was misleading you. It was by Arthur Miller. It has witches in. Question 17, and we were after picture 6. We were asking you to name the home entertainment brands represented by each of 5 logos. BritBox, Samsung, HBO. If you want to be smug, you could have written that as home box office, but HBO is more than enough for me. Disney Plus and Dolby. That's BritBox, Samsung, HBO, Disney Plus and Dolby, of course the house elf from Harry Potter. Question 18, and we were after any one year from the 100 Years' War. We say, and it's anywhere from 1337 to 1453 inclusive. Remember, we said to name 1 year, so if they've named both 1337 and 1453, they lose the point for being smug. That's just the rules. Now, question 19 took us to picture 7, and we had 3.5 people's faces, and we asked the year they were born. Well, first we had Kate Middleton, as was latterly Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge. We then had Dan Carter, Adam Lambert, Abby Cornish, who they, I hear you ask. The year, 1982, we're give, so we'll accept anything in the range 1980 to 1984. Anyway, 5 points in total for that question. Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, Dan Carter, Adam Lambert, Abby Cornish, and the year, 1982 plus or minus 2. Finally, we asked, you're so vain, in which direction do you carry blood? And the answer is towards the heart. It goes out full of oxygen and nice and red through the arteries, and it comes back all depleted, ready to be stocked up and rocked back round in the veins. So the answer, toward, for a point. There were a whole 47 points available for round 1. I will get back to the round 2 questions. If you missed any of those answers, do query me on the comment thread. Otherwise, I'll give an update in a few questions and do the music round answers. And we are back to the pictures for question 3, I think. So, I'm on the wrong pictures. I will put that up very shortly. Okay, there we are. Picture 8 for question 3, and we're asking you to name 3 types of rock. The 3 main types of rock, in fact. Maybe you remember this from geography lessons from when you were 14. But what are these types of rock? And I'm going to give you question 5 before we go and mark the music round. So question 5, what 4-letter word, not one of those, what 4-letter word describes a website that allows anyone to amend or add to its content? It's not insecure. Good guess, but it's not insecure. What 4-letter word describes a website that allows anyone to amend or add to its content? I'll be back in about 30 seconds, and those music round questions should have populated on your marking sheets by then. Okay, let's mark that music round. So whoever the identified marker is, get your marking sheet back. Shout immediately if they haven't populated yet. Hopefully those answers are showing now. From the 60s, we had Dusty Springfield singing I Only Want to Be With You. Dusty Springfield, I Only Want to Be With You, 1 point each. On to the 70s, and with a spirited defence of the cultural value of institutional racism in the Deep South, it's Lynyrd Skynyrd with Sweet Home Alabama. They were responding to Neil Young. And if you listen carefully to Neil Young's song Alabama, you'll realise it's a sort of minor key, slowed down version of Sweet Home Alabama. It all connects. On to the 80s, and we had an absolute banger there from 89, Alana Miles with Black Velvet. 2 points again, Alana Miles, Black Velvet. On to the 90s, and I know what you were asking yourselves. Is it Under Pressure? Is it Firestarter? Or is it Smack My Bitch Up? Which one was it? It was Breathe. The Prodigy and Breathe from the 90s. Into the 2000s, and sounding sort of like Mundy and Tobacco, but not that. It's the Chemical Brothers with Galvanize. Chemical Brothers, Galvanize. And finally, as memorably covered by the Cookie Monster, I See You Have Cookie, so share some maybe. It was Carly Rae Jepsen with the catchy Call Me Maybe. 6 songs, 12 points. We have also had a request for question 4 again. And let's see what question 4 was. Question 4. Ooh. Yeah, we asked you for the one letter name of the vitamin, which is nicknamed the sunshine vitamin. And that was question 4. I'm going to have a look at how those answers have panned out, and I'm going to give you a very quick update on how everyone's doing, and then we will go on to question 6. Okay, question 6 brings us to picture 9, and we're asking you to work out what are the Spanish loan words from the translations literal given there. What are the Spanish loan words from their translations or derivations? And while you think about that, I can give you a little bit of a scores update. It is pretty close this week, and I see that there are only... Well, there's 10 points in it at the halfway stage, and all of that can be made up. On 44 points, a pretty respectable start, we have the Kings. They are only slightly trailing the World Health Organization, previous winners, not doing so well this time, who are level with the Orcs on 50 points. We have, ahead of them, Depleted Haircuts and Sounds a Bit Hippie to Me, both also previous top performers. They're on 51. In joint second, we have the Footlins and It's a Shit Fish if it helps, on 52 points. But ahead of the pack and defending their victory last time, I think, we have Panic at the Tesco with a perfect music round and 42 on round 1. They are on 54 points, but still everything to play for as we go through round 2. All right, we are running late, like we always seem to be, so I'm going to keep pushing through the questions. And question 7 is, who is buried under the Arc de Triomphe? It's not that they just landed it on him by accident. I think they buried them there on purpose. But who is it under the Arc de Triomphe? Okay, pushing on to question 8 now. And we are asking, how exciting is that? We're already on to the mystery voices. I hadn't even realised it was coming. So, for mystery voices, I'm going to play you 3 little snippets of people talking. You should listen to their voices and also listen to the things they say. Can you work out who it is? We are going to have, I think, 3 clips, so that's 3 points if you can name all 3 people.
Number 1.
At our picnics in the South, when we had big barrels of lemonade and fried chicken, barbecue ribs, and the whole bit, and there was a Mr. Bootsy Whitelaw. That was the band. And I was the singer. I was the dancer. I was up there, little Anna May. I don't know how old I was, but I was even singing then and dancing.
Number 2.
I don't know them exactly. I mean, actually, I was at an awards thing or something, and William was presenting, and he knew that I was in the room, and he said, "I've got to be really, really good because my granny's in the house."
Number 3.
He had an existing set of advisors. I come to it fresh. So for me to be able to build my own team, which is what I'm doing, but have that team work closely with the Prime Minister's team, is absolutely a good thing.
What a bunch of characters. I'll give you about 20 seconds to discuss that, and then I'm going to play them for you one more time. Okay, here they go again.
Number 1.
At our picnics in the South, when we had big barrels of lemonade and fried chicken, barbecue ribs, and the whole bit, and there was a Mr. Bootsy Whitelaw. That was the band. And I was the singer. I was the dancer. I was up there, little Anna May. I don't know how old I was, but I was even singing then and dancing.
Number 2.
I don't know them exactly. I mean, actually, I was at an awards thing or something, and William was presenting, and he knew that I was in the room, and he said, "I've got to be really, really good because my granny's in the house."
Number 3.
He had an existing set of advisors. I come to it fresh. So for me to be able to build my own team, which is what I'm doing, but have that team work closely with the Prime Minister's team, is absolutely a good thing.
What an interesting bunch of characters. Anyway, you can keep thinking about that, but I'm going to make you thinking about something else. Make you thinking. I am make you thinking. That's the Quizcazoatl motto. About question 9, which is, name the 3 largest cities of New Zealand by population. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip. One of them, if you put the word paranormal afterwards, is a great TV comedy show which you probably can't readily access from the UK. Anyway, what are the 3 largest cities of New Zealand by population? And I am also going to queue up the next picture for you. Picture 10 is question 10. It's where the numbers converge. It's like an eclipse. But what is the answer to the odd ones out from these 4 sets of things? Odd ones out for picture 10, question 10. Okay, and we're going to move on as well to question 11. And for question 11, we're asking about metacrosis. We've all had trouble with it in the past, but metacrosis is the ability of some animals to do what? Metacrosis is the ability of some animals to do what? Okay, let's push straight through to question 12 as well. Question 12, oh, we're back to the pictures. Imagine that. Let's get that up on screen. Picture 11, and we are looking for 6 cities that begin with the same letter. There's one in, well, that probably looks like a bit of Europe there. Then we have Taiwan, hopefully labelled. And then goodness knows where that weird-shaped peninsula for number 3 is. And then the next 3 cities are along the north coast of North Africa. But what are they called? Okay, just as if we didn't have enough to do, let's also go to a second spot prize question. And for the second spot prize, again, closest answer gets a shout out and the smugness of being correctish. In minutes and seconds, what was the duration of the freefall section of Felix Baumgartner's 2012 skydive from 24.2 miles up in the stratosphere? In minutes and seconds, what was the duration of Felix Baumgartner's 24-mile skydive from the stratosphere? Happened in 2012. Sounds like a thrill. Can you work out how long it might have been? Again, send the answers to the Quizcazoatl Gmail, to Facebook Messenger, to WhatsApp, by pigeon. If you live underneath me, maybe you can just shout. Who's to say? I look forward to getting them. Okay, I'll give you a few questions to think that over before I reveal this half's winner. In the meantime, if you're around about my age, you might remember the Torval and Dean revival, the Bolero, and the shocking outcome in which they did not get given the gold medal on their return to Olympic ice skating. But in which year did they win Olympic gold in Sarajevo? In which year did ice dancers Torval and Dean win Olympic gold in Sarajevo? And we can push on through to question 14, which is, you guessed it, unless you didn't, it's songs from the musicals. I often get warned for copyright violation for playing these, so I hope it's worth it. We're going to play 3 songs from musicals. I do not want to know the name of the song. Don't care, don't want to hear it. What I do want is for you to tell me the name of the musicals that these songs are taken from. So,
Number
here you go.
1. Number 2.
I'm sorry, secret siren, but I'm blocking out your calls. I've had my adventure, I don't need something new. I'm afraid of what I'm risking if I follow you into the unknown. Into the unknown. Into the unknown.
Number 3.
Now I had the time of my life. No, I never felt like this before. Yes, I swear it's a truth, and I owe it all to you.
'Cause I had the time of my life.
Catchy songs, the sort of stuff you want to sing along to. But can you name them? I'll give you about 20 seconds to discuss it, and then I will play them for you just the once more. Okay, here we go.
Number 1. Number 2.
I'm sorry, secret siren, but I'm blocking out your calls. I've had my adventure, I don't need something new. I'm afraid of what I'm risking if I follow you into the unknown. Into the unknown. Into the unknown.
Number 3.
Now I had the time of my life. No, I never felt like this before. Yes, I swear it's a truth, and I owe it all to you.
'Cause I had the time of my life.
Well, I certainly enjoyed those, even if I don't know what musical they're from, because I don't watch musical theatre. Not really. Anyway, you finish those up, and also, why not have a think about these paraphrased insects? Each of these clues could be said in a different way to reveal the name of an insect. Okay, we're going to push it along to question 16 as well. And we're asking the name of which Japanese martial art translates as the way of the sword. The name of which Japanese martial art translates as the way of the sword. And if you still wanted to get in a spot prize guess, how long did Felix Baumgartner take to fall to Earth in 2012? 24 miles. Now's your chance. I'll be announcing our second spot prize winner very shortly. Okay, we are on to our last but one question for the picture round. And picture 13 is going to challenge us to look at some, or to solve some film genres or types based on missing vowel clues. So we only have the consonants, and we are asking you to name the film genres or types. I am just getting those last couple of pictures onto the system, and then we are hot to trot. Name the film genres or types from these collections of consonants. And for the spot prize question, we had a couple of pretty good guesses. Tim and Rachel were both very much in the right ballpark, but Rachel, with a guess of I think 3 minutes and 15 seconds, you win this time. The real answer was 4 minutes 19 seconds. Can you imagine doing all that falling? All right, question 18. And well, this is a medical one. Named after a 19th century doctor, what term is given to the contractions of a false labour? False labour in this case relates to birth, not labour under Keir Starmer. Am I right, Corbynistas? Anyway, it's also known as practice contractions. Named after a 19th century doctor, what term is given to the contractions of a false labour, also known as practice contractions? Now, Quizcazoatl Pub Quiz Day, I know, is for all of you a red letter day. But how about we get on to some red letter words? Our last picture, picture 14, asks us to identify the red letter words from these sets of letters. No bonus point whatsoever for using any of the unkind alternative versions of GNVQ that I used to hear when I was at school. So can you tell me, what does the red letter stand for? In RSPB, it's an S. GNVQ, for the V. IMAP, it's a P. And PAT, P. Okay, and that takes us to the very last question of the round. It's question 20. And question 20 is, if your weight on Earth was 100 kilograms, what would your weight be on the moon? The moon is smaller than the Earth, but what does that mean for your weight? If your weight on Earth was 100 kilograms, what would your weight be on the moon? And we're giving you plus or minus a very specific 5.5 kilograms on this one. Plus or minus 5.5 kilograms. Now, that is the last question of round 2. I'm not calling it off just yet. You'll have a moment to talk about it, but that means you're going to have about 3 or 4 minutes to get your round 2 answers done before we get to the wipeout round. So if you need anything repeating, now is the time to ask. Now, it has been pointed out to me that there was a conflation in that last question between mass units and weight units. Now, you are not going to get a bonus point for giving me that weight in newtons. No, sorry, Bob, that is not encouraged. So, if you had a standard UK-tuned metricized kitchen scale on the moon, what would it register in kilograms in response to the applied weight of a 100 kilogram Earth person? And anyone who gets smug about the difference, dock them 5 points. With, of course, a moment to say thank you to all the maths and physics teachers out there putting themselves on the line in order to have their insistence on units mocked on weekly pub quizzes. Anyway, I have not had any requests for anything repeated, so it is 10:05, and that is well past time to go to, you love it, it's the Wipeout round. Now, the Wipeout round is where it gets really exciting. This could make or break your team score today. In the Wipeout round, we're going to have 6 questions. It's a little bit different from the rest of the quiz. It's only 1 point per question. The last letter of each answer is the first letter of the next answer. So if you are on your game, you can construct a string of answers that are sort of mutually confirmatory. Although you want to be careful, because the other detail about the Wipeout round is if you put a wrong answer down, you're allowed to leave it blank, you can pass, but you can't give a wrong answer or you lose all your points from the round. So careful about guessing. But if you do get all 6 right, there are a bonus 2 marks to be had. So 8 points in total for a clean sweep on the Wipeout round. So, without further ado, let's get to Wipeout question 1. And don't worry, you do not have to put your team name in again for the Wipeout round. So don't worry if you haven't been asked to. So for question 1, we're asking, in which sport did Nicola Adams win a gold medal at the 2012 Olympics? In which sport did Nicola Adams win a gold medal at the 2012 Olympics? Now, Wipeout question 2 is about Greenwich. And that reminds me, if any of you are feeling exceedingly happy to do the quiz, and you're so grateful that you'd like to give something back, on the YouTube front page for the channel, I have put a link to the Lewisham Food Bank. We don't ask you for anything here at Quizcazoatl HQ. We invest tens of thousands of pounds maintaining our systems, which is why the technology works so seamlessly. We don't want that back, but if you did want to contribute to our little local community around here, do by all means feel free to make a little donation to the Lewisham Food Bank. Anyway, Wipeout question 2, and we are asking, if you travelled due south down the Greenwich Meridian, my house would be on the right, but what would be the last country that you would be in before you crossed the water to Antarctica? What would be the last country you passed through if you went due south down the Greenwich Meridian out of London towards Antarctica? Remember, if you can see icebergs, you've probably already left the country. Right, I think I was on mute when I read that question out, so I'm going to read it out again. Which river, which flows to the capital of the Netherlands, gives its name to a brewery founded in 1870? So, river flows to the capital of the Netherlands. It's near Holland. It gives its name to a brewery founded in 1870. Okay, on to Wipeout question 4. And we're asking, what is the UK's easternmost town? It matches up to eat in never eat shredded wheat. But what is the UK's easternmost town? This one is a little bit cryptic, but we're asking, what is the musical word for paperclip in French? What is the musical word for paperclip in French? And the final question for this week's Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz, do tell your friends, is going to be Wipeout question 6. What was the name of the aircraft that first dropped an atomic bomb as a weapon of war? At some point during the broadcast, I've dropped in a little clue for this one. So what was the name of the aircraft that first dropped an atomic bomb as a weapon of war? All right then, that is nearly at the end of the quiz for today. All we have to do is for you guys to submit your answers, and then for me to give those answers out and do the marking. So I am going to cue you up a song to take you through for about 4 minutes. Try to get your answers submitted within 2 or 3 minutes, so as at the end of the song I can get those marking sheets round and we can go straight to reading the answers.
रख ले पल्ले विच मुखड़ा लुका के रख ले
you could get in those last couple of answer sheets, that would really help us out in getting the marking done promptly and letting everyone go to bed.
ਮੁੰਡਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਬੁੱਲਾਂ ਤੇ ਤੇਰੀਆਂ ਕਹਾਣੀਆਂ ਚੰਨੀ ਨੀ ਤਖਨੇ ਦੀਆਂ ਗਲੀਆਂ ਬਿਛਾਣੀਆਂ ਚੋਪਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੁੱਲਾਂ ਤੇ ਤੇਰੀਆਂ ਕਹਾਣੀਆਂ ਚੰਨੀ ਨੀ ਤਖਨੇ ਦੀਆਂ ਗਲੀਆਂ ਬਿਛਾਣੀਆਂ ਜੰਜੂਆ ਤਾਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੇਰੇ ਰੂਪ ਦਾ دیਵਾਨਾ ਜੰਜੂਆ ਤਾਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੇਰੇ ਰੂਪ ਦਾ دیਵਾਨਾ ਚੱਲ ਸਕਿਆ ਨਾ ਹੁਸਨ ਦਾ ਬਾਰ ਮੁੰਡਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਬਚ ਕੇ ਰਹੀ ਨੀ ਤੂੰ ਹੁਣੇ ਹੁਣੇ ਹੋਈ ਮੁਟਿਆਰ ਮੁੰਡਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਬਚ ਕੇ ਰਹੀ.
Also, if you're the team that changed your name to Lynyrd Skynyrd for this round, do please feel free to give me an indication of what your team name was previously. Okay, everybody. Still waiting for a last couple of answers to come in. Remember, there's a little bit of a lag from me to you and then from you to me, so perhaps you've already submitted and I'm just waiting for the system to update. Sort of discovered I can play the countdown theme tune and I'm enjoying it too much. Okay. Well... Oh, look, I put an extra countdown up. That's too many countdowns. So, I have 5 sets of answers registering. I am going to start sending those through to the marking sheets now. If you haven't got yours in yet, then please, please, please try and get it through so as we can get started. Otherwise, just sit tight for a couple of minutes while the system all comes into line. Okay, well, hopefully, I think all but maybe one team should have a populated score sheet ready to go. If you are running a little bit late, slow or behind, I will run through any answers again that you miss. But let's go over the answers from round 2. So, a recipe kit, a famous woman, it was Katie Price. The name for a folded over pizza meaning trouser leg, also an episode of Seinfeld, it was calzone. Calzone. Question 3 took us back to the pictures. In picture 8, we had the 3 basic types of rock. They are metamorphic, which means something that's been sort of all smushed together and changed. We have igneous, which is what comes out of a volcano. And we had sedimentary, my dear Watson. Sedimentary, those are the rocks where the sediment settles. 3 points there. Question 4, and we were asked for the one-letter name of the vitamin nicknamed the sunshine vitamin. That is, and hopefully you've all been catching up on it today, getting out in the garden instead of staying fully indoors, it's vitamin D. For question 5, we asked what 4-letter word describes a website that allows anyone to amend or add to its content. That is a wiki, as in Wikipedia or WikiLeaks. Question 6, and we were back on the pictures. We were asking for Spanish words used in English from the 6 translations or derivations. Well, the first one, we had nada, then mosquito, guacamole, cojones, that's cojones with a J, pina colada, and siesta. Nada, mosquito, guacamole, cojones, pina colada, siesta. A total of 6 points available. Who is buried under the Arc de Triomphe? That is the unknown soldier. The unknown soldier is memorialized under the Arc de Triomphe. Question 8, and we had 3 voices to identify. The first was Tina Turner. And then we had popular Queen impersonator Helen Mirren. And finally, we had marginally less popular Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rishi Sunak. I think trying to mount a spirited justification of how badly screwed over his predecessor was. For question 9, we had 3 largest cities of New Zealand by population. That was Auckland, Christchurch and Wellington. Auckland, Christchurch, Wellington. 3 points, and a hearty recommendation to Wellington Paranormal if you can find a way to watch it. Question 10 and picture 10, the eclipse of the question number. We had odd ones out. The first odd one out was some other day. Then we had L, which is only in Louisiana. Then we had Bristol Joinery. And finally, we had the Scottish independence referendum, which took place in 2014. 4 points available. Some Other Day, L, Bristol Joinery, and Scottish Indie Ref. Metachrosis is the ability of animals to change colour. I, of course, find it very strange that anyone would change any of their colours, and have always been as blue as I look. Question 12 takes us to the cities in picture 11. They all started with a T. We had Toulouse, Taipei, Truro, Tangiers, Tunis, and Tripoli. That's 6 points available for Toulouse, Taipei, Truro, Tangiers, Tunis, and Tripoli. Now, the question did ask you to get those in the right order. So if, especially if anyone's got those North African cities mixed up, I'm afraid probably we're not going to give the point for those. If it looks like they've got Truro mixed up with Taipei, I think we can probably give them the benefit of the doubt and assume they knew which way round they were. Question 13, unlucky for some, but lucky for Torval and Dean, they won gold at Sarajevo in 1984. 1984 for a point. On to the musicals, and 3 absolute bangers. We had the Fried Chicken Sail song that is One Vision. That's from We Will Rock You. Then we had one from Frozen 2. And finally, Dirty Dancing. 3 points for We Will Rock You, Frozen 2 and Dirty Dancing. If they've put Frozen 1, that's not the same as Frozen 2. No point. Question 15 took us to picture 12, and we were asking for the insects from the cryptic clues. So we had bee, cicada, as in sick harder, get it? Mayfly, earwig, flea, and weevil. 6 points for bee, cicada, mayfly, earwig, flea, and weevil. The name of which Japanese martial art translates as the way of the sword? That was kendo. Kendo is the martial art which is the way of the sword. Question 17 takes us to picture 13. And the answers there were sci-fi, adventure, animated, and action. Missing vowels for film genres: sci-fi, adventure, animated, and action. The 19th century doctor who gave his name to a term for contractions of a false labour was Braxton Hicks. Not a man I'm familiar with, or a woman, I guess, perhaps, but Braxton Hicks. Moving on to question 19, and we had words represented with red letters. First off, we had the Royal Society, S for Society, for the protection of birds. Then the General National Vocational Qualification. We had the Internet Message Access Protocol. If you download your email from an online client onto your computer, maybe you use IMAP. It's an Internet Message Access Protocol. And finally, it's an excuse that our landlord uses in my house to poke around in our room. It's portable appliance testing. They're checking that you won't burn in your sleep. Anyway, society, vocational, protocol, and portable. 4 points available. Finally, we have the physically incorrect question. If your weight on the Earth was 100 kilograms, what would your weight be on the Moon? Now, of course, strictly 100 kilograms is a unit of mass, but you could use that bathroom scales to weigh yourself, as we call it in the vernacular, on the Moon, and you would find that it was about 16.5 kilograms. But we will accept anyone who's in the range from 11 to 22. 1 point available there. Now, I know that one team got the answers through a little bit late. Hopefully you've been able to keep up with the marking, but if you need any of those repeated, do let me know. But while we are thinking about that, we will go to the wipeout answers. Now, for the wipeout, we have an extra little feature. Hopefully, you will see you have the 6 answer boxes, and then there's a little box that currently ought to say no. If it says yes, change it to no. In that box, you mark whether the team you are marking has wiped out, i.e., have they put in an actively wrong answer. They don't wipe out by leaving a question blank, but an actively wrong answer will wipe them out and take all their points away. So if they get one wrong, change that no to a yes. Anyway, in which sport did Nicola Adams win a gold medal at the 2012 Olympics? That was boxing. Travelling south down the Greenwich Meridian, what is the last country you would be in before you cross the water to Antarctica? It's a tricky one, this, I thought. That is Ghana. You don't get as far as South Africa if you go due south from London. That is Ghana. Now, the river flowing to the capital of the Netherlands, Amsterdam, which would have been a bit of a clue if we'd said it, gave its name to the Amstel Brewery. Amstel is the river that gave its name to the Amstel Brewery. Wipeout 4, and we asked, what is the UK's easternmost town? That is Lowestoft. Lowestoft is the easternmost town in the UK. The French word for a paperclip is not the French horn, it's the trombone. If somebody tries to put a trombone on your filing in France, it might not be as mad as it sounds. And finally, a flashback to the very first of the introductory songs I played when the stream launched today, for anyone who was really more early than you needed to be. It was the Enola Gay was the name of the aircraft that dropped an atomic bomb first as a weapon of war. Enola Gay, you should have stayed at home today. That is a total of 6 points available. The bonus for getting them all right will appear automatically. You don't have to do anything. And that means we have a total for the quiz today of up to 119 points. Can you imagine getting 119? Anyway, finish marking those. I am going to be back in about a minute and a half once everything has fed through to me, and we will see who has won today's quiz. Okay, it looks like we have all the scores in now. So I am going to give you the rundown and let's see how everybody did. And I can tell you it is a humdinger. There are only 2 points covering the top 4 teams in today's quiz, all of whom managed to score more than 100 points. What an impressive achievement that is. And it turns out that the scores weren't all quite in, because I now see that there are, in fact, 5 teams with at least 100 points. So I am just going to give this spreadsheet another moment, make sure it is properly updated before I do the announcements. Okay, I think that is, let's just see my little update bars here. I have too much interesting stuff going on my spreadsheet. It just takes a minute before everything comes through. So, well, it's even more exciting than I thought. We have 6 teams have reached the 100 mark this week. That is top performance from everyone. And we have 1 point covering the top 3 teams. Isn't that exciting? We only had 1 team who wiped out this week. That was the team that I still refer to as my team, although I don't really help them because I'm too busy doing this. So anyway, with an exceedingly respectable 86.5 points, coming in at number 8, we have the Kings. 86.5 points to the Kings. Well played. In penultimate position, previous high flyers, looks like they've had a difficult day. Difficult round 2 especially. On 99 points we have the Footlins. Only lagging just a smidgen behind on 100, the Sounds a Bit Hippie to Me and Depleted Haircuts. Picking up after a slow start, but with an 8 out of 8 on the wipeout round, the Orcs are marauding through our green fields on 102 points for 4th place, which means that the top place is going to one of Panic at the Tesco, the World Health Organization, and It's a Shit Fish If It Helps / Lynyrd Skynyrd. I still don't really know why they changed their name to Lynyrd Skynyrd, but anyway. In 3rd place on 106, we have, leading at half-time, Panic at the Tesco were pipped at the post, which means in joint first, we have the World Health Organization and the Shit Fish. You know what that means? It means next week we are going to start the quiz with a Quizcazoatl tiebreak to find out who the winner from this week was in absolute terms. we'll have, as ever, more excitement. We'll be at the same place. We are going to be upping our game on the spot prizes, because I can tell most people are bored of them. And stay safe, stay indoors, try not to dribble on anyone you see on the train. Stay alert, in case there's a ninja hiding behind a bush. And we will see you all